The WWE Survivor Series main event has been revealed. Plus, Major Impact and Noah talents were ripped off at an Indy event over the weekend. We'll get into that in a moment. Plus, is a former SmackDown champion making a return to WWE? It's all in the wrestling news right now. WarGames on the horizon. I'm surprised they haven't let William Regal just poke his head out of Jacksonville just to go, WarGames.
Oh, Michael Cole, you scrubby little crumpet. WarGames!
That's it, just do that. Let him go back. All fine. We're getting WarGames week on Saturday. A buzz-in for War. I'm so excited.
A Saturday night PLE once again.
I know. How good, though, to be at a point where I'm excited about Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I've got that, which is, who's got the best hat? Raw or SmackDown? None of that nonsense this year. Thank you. The main event looks set, according to Dave, doesn't it, Rob?
Yes, Dave Meltzer saying the main event will be the team of the Brawling Brutes, Shamu and Drew McIntyre. Sheamus, of course, returned on Friday's SmackDown. Drew McIntyre then came out when the Bloodline, who will be on the opposite side of the cage, were knocking 7 shades of you-know-what out of the Brawling Brutes and Shamu. So we need 4. We've got 4 on one side, 5 on the other. So the baby faces will be getting a little friend.
But that's a very obvious main event. I'm glad that is the main event.
Yeah, who is going to be the little friend?
Now, the little friend, I heard, potentially Kevin Owens would be a strong pick for that. Had a few tweets saying that there was the live event over the weekend in which Kevin Owens had his match. He was hobbling to the back afterwards.
Oh, bollocks.
Now, we've not read anything that says there's a major injury there, or any, at least at time of recording. That's not the case. We'll update you on that one. But, I mean, Kevin Owens seems to be a really obvious choice for that one. They could have some fun and have a surprise entrant.
So with Kevin Owens there, just trying to sort of shoehorn him in there. They've gone, who will jump off the top of the cage on the roster? Kevin will do.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Kev would do it. He'd do a great job. And it could still fuel that whole thing with maybe trying to get into the mind of Sammy, his old mate again.
And he can go back to, was it the Rumble of 21 when he got screwed by Heyman and Roman for the title? So they can bring that back in, long-term storytelling.
There's some years that you can roll back with Kevin Owens in there, and he's not got like anything major happening at the moment. They're kind of holding, I think from what we read the other week when WrestleVogue spoke to Give Me Sport, was the plan was going to be to have Kevin Owens more intrinsically involved by now anyway. But because the Sami Zayn thing took on a bit of a life of its own, they just went, right, we'll hold back on paying this off because let's just let it see where it goes.
Oh, Tom, imagine, right, if Sami Zayn dethrones the tribal chief, right?
Talked about it in a video the other week. Did a whole video about it.
I didn't watch it.
It's not out. It's fine. Neither did I. I barely remember doing it. They just put me in front of the camera. And I wrote some notes on a piece of cardboard and read them. But there is a school of thought that genuinely makes you think this might be a really good way to pay things off. And the thing I said in the video was that even if you don't have Roman Reigns lose the titles to Sami Zayn, there's another little trophy that Roman has that Sami could take.
Solo Sikoa.
He gets his Solo Sikoa, custody of Solo Sikoa. Put him on top of the ladder like Dominic Mysterio. It's the fact that Roman hasn't been pinned since 2019.
Shut the front door.
May not have Sami Zayn win. Imagine if Sami pins Roman and has that.
Just as good as winning a title, some might say.
It might not be, but it was a thought that I had. So Kevin Owens, I've turned into Deirdre as well. You were Deirdre in the last one. I've got it back now. So Kevin Owens is a school of thought for going into this match. Maybe they keep it a surprise till the night. Yeah. And then it's a big return of some sort.
I don't know, yeah.
Tegan
Hell
Knox.
yeah. I don't know what else to say there.
Tegan Knox. Let's talk about New Evolution Pro Wrestling, like as we always do. New Evolution Wrestling. So they're a promotion based in the northeast of America. They ran a show in Elmhurst last night. An impressive roster they announced ahead of time. A bunch of Noah stars, Impact Wrestling's Josh Alexander, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Alberto El Patron were on there as well. And Fightful Select reported that it didn't go particularly well for all the talent involved.
Yes, they're saying during the show, several talent, including Ultimo Dragon, Josh Alexander, Katsushiko Nakajima, Naomichi Marufuji, and Alberto Del Rio were told that the promoter of the event had no money and they're not getting paid.
Well, There you go. That's wrestling, isn't it?
It is wrestling. It's a shame, isn't it?
It's scummy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The talent found the promoter who claimed to have a medical emergency and left to go to the hospital, leaving all the money they'd made from signings to split between the wrestlers. Josh Alexander was the guy that was running around counting the money to make sure that the audience got to see Noah matches at the least. $14,000 short in the end.
Close, but not far. Carny bastard. Should we name and shame this man?
I mean, the promotion's New Evolution Wrestling, based around New York. I haven't got the name of the promotion, fortunately, here. You can see clips of the show online, and I'm sure everybody that went had a lovely time. But for a show that heavy laden with talent, the turnout was pretty bad. It looked like the venue did look like someone's living room, and there was a little conversation online. I think Dave Bixenspan highlighted it, where they put this card up and somebody went, "Hey, how can I watch this?" "Oh, you got to get a ticket for the arena." And I go, "Can I watch it live on pay-per-view or in demand?" "Nope, it's exclusively live." And then a few other reports came out. I think Fightful said this as well, that there was no like Ticketmaster or ticket sales website. It was just the promoter saying, send your money to this PayPal, I'll send you a ticket.
Oh my God, that's not what? That is mental. Oh my God.
Carney. So anyway, the talent eventually got together. They did a 6-man tag in the main event. Josh Alexander, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Alberto Del Rio taking on Ultimo Dragon, Nakajima, and Marufuji. Patreon did a promo afterwards saying no one's getting paid from this. I think some people did. for the
not what I
benefit.
think they were expecting.
Because there's a few people who were there. There were tweets from people who were there who wrestled last on the night, like Kira Hogan and Kimberly were on the card, and they seemed quite happy with how everything went. There were nice photos backstage, and they had a good time. So I don't think it was as terrible a time, but I think there was a massive shortfall in money where the promoter had made these grand promises and then suddenly had to leave the building and leave other people to sort it all out.
Shame.
It is a shame. I think for as long as wrestling will be wrestling, there will always be these things that will happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know how you get rid of them. It's just a thing during the straight to hell times I found is still very prevalent in wrestling world today, when you just assume it wouldn't be. And it's just, I don't know how you eradicate it. It should be, though, obviously.
You officiate it. You have like a governing body in place. This is something I've talked about with the all-party parliamentary group on wrestling, where we've talked. And so the thing that you need is almost like an FA for wrestling, whereby because here's the worrying thing, Ross. If you and I had nothing on this morning, right? We've got enough contacts. We could speak to Howard and get a ring. Yeah. We could book 10 wrestlers. We
Stop
could
it, people
hire a
want it soon.
We could hire a venue, and then we could go online to and trademark like Tom and Ross Pro Wrestling. And that's it. And we're running a wrestling show. We haven't got we shouldn't be allowed to.
And before you say I wasn't involved in WCPW, right? I merely worked for the company who put that on. Jesus.
I like being able to talk about stuff like that because I was not even consider. I was on Heart at the time. I'm innocent. My alibis are intact.
I went to the first booking meeting, didn't say anything, and wasn't invited back. So that's where I stood on that. Okay.
Before we get into that nonsense, but that's how you stop it. Is you have like a governing body that oversees it and goes, look, if you're gonna promote a wrestling show, you've got to have these certain things in place. Yeah. Otherwise, you can't, and we'll shut you down.
Yes.
Hey, that is what it is. Trademark news from WWE. They're trademarking Mission. Which has multiple meanings in Korean, which includes crazy, mad, demented, distraught. That comes from wordhippo.com, where I got that from, which suggests that maybe somebody from that part of the world is due in anytime soon with a name like that.
Is there anyone who's been signed to the PC recently?
Possibly. There's a couple of names that are not confirmed as to where they're from, but it might very well be that. But we might start seeing promos and trails and vignettes for them on tomorrow night's NXT.
Oh boy.
Who knows? Talking of the Performance Center, a former star of SmackDown was knocking about there, wasn't he?
Let's see if you can guess who it is. Lucha things.
Ooh.
It's Kalisto, everybody.
It's Kalisto!
He was there, and Fightful say Kalisto worked with the talent at the center and then attended an NXT live event over the weekend where he produced several of the women's matches.
Ooh!
Someone's getting fancy these days.
Yeah, getting the old producing thing. Now, Kalisto was part of WWE for many years. He was on the Raw brand. He was on the SmackDown brand, where he became the Cruiserweight Champion and the United States Champion. He was part of 205 Live.
Who could forget his feud with Ryback?
Who could forget? Yeah, that feud with Ryback in front of the lowest attended WrestleMania match of all time, because the match took place.
I saw it live.
You were there.
It was fantastic.
You got in the building. By that
Yeah,
point.
our door was fine. We walked straight in there. Got a giant lemonade or a Sprite, whatever it was, with my WrestleMania Memorial Cup. Fantastic.
So it was a match played just to Ross.
Yes.
On that particular night. But yeah, backstage doing stuff with NXT. I think he'd be a nice little get to come back
I was
if
going
he
to say,
chose to.
It's someone who over the past 10 years has got a certain degree of name value to them, and I assume they're not, too advanced in age as well. So get them in there to put over sort of younger talents up and down the SmackDown and all Raw roster and all NXT roster. Why the bloody hell not?
Yeah.
He's good as well, isn't he? Right?
I think so.
I don't know why I'm being so defensive here. You didn't say anything negative about him. He's good, okay.
He's good. He had a belter in AEW against FTR. He was involved in that brilliant tag match that night. Great and stuff.
What?
Excellent performer.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's completely repressed in my memory.
That was a thing that happened that time. More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe and love you, bye.
Love you, bye.